Hello and welcome to Week 2, Unit 2 of the Open SAP course, Touch IoT with SAP Leonardo. Now that you've had an introduction to SAP Leonardo, it's time to bring it together with the Internet of Things. So let's get started. So, SAP Leonardo and the Internet of Things. First of all, let's call it SAP Leonardo IoT for short. How and why is SAP involved in the Internet of Things? And what might that mean for you and for SAP's customers and partners? Or, generally, what could it mean for anyone? These are some of the questions we hope to answer. So let's look back at the definition of the Internet of Things that we put together in Week 1. So, IoT is the network of physical objects that contain embedded technology to sense and interact with their environment and each other to collect and exchange data to make our lives better. And now let's recap what SAP Leonardo is. The digital business system that enables you to innovate at scale to confidently redefine your business. So, it follows that the Internet of Things, with all of its connecting, sensing, interacting, and analyzing, well, it'd be a huge part of what drives the digital business system that is SAP Leonardo. But, independent of technology, what else might be happening in the world that might be contributing to this digital business transformation? Well, let's get into it a little bit. The truth is, businesses right now are facing unprecedented changes as a result of other non-tech factors, like, for example, a rising middle class and a younger workforce. And that's really only magnified by just how networked everyone is, with over 1 billion people using social networks with 50 billion devices expected to be connected soon. Not to mention that data is doubling every 18 months. So, if you combine all these factors together, what that means is that this is fueling new and disruptive business models. And to be clear, this isn't meant to be a negative message. Actually, quite the opposite. This digital economy is ripe for opportunity. Change can actually be enjoyable and empowering. All right, so let's take a look at a visualization that sort of illustrates the role of the Internet of Things in terms of connecting everything and everyone. Let's move from left to right. Now, before we get started, I apologize if some of the text here is a little small, but you can review it in more detail later by downloading the slides on the course website. Okay, so people. This one we're used to the most. Smartphones and tablets are some of the original things, you might say, and as part of the Internet of Things. So, as a result, they're everywhere, and education is changing as you don't really need to be in a physical location to learn. And then there's personal health and fitness, which are becoming more precise as wearable devices or things allow us to track and monitor ourselves. But now, what if we expand that and move to connecting vehicles and treating them as connected things? Well, we are already seeing this with cars that can park themselves and even other cars that are fully autonomous and connected. And then what if homes and appliances within our homes were connected? The list keeps growing as the ripple effect gets us to a place where it's not just our homes, but then it's eventually going to become our towns and cities, and then roads and buildings, pipelines and transportation, logistics, manufacturing, agriculture, and on and on and on. Many of these things are already connected in a way, but imagine if everything was connected to everything else in a smart way that improved not only how businesses operate, but also how people just live their lives. All right, so now let's take a look at a kind of disrupted view of the enterprise value chain. For those of you unfamiliar, the enterprise value chain is basically the process through which a business develops, sells, manufactures, and supports its products. And before everything started to become more connected, it used to be that these processes were more linear, with a lot of the steps somewhat isolated from each other. But now, in this IoT disrupted world, the value chain is quickly changing. We often refer to this as running a live business. When you have sensor-enabled devices, all of a sudden you're monitoring condition usage or consumption in real time, and you're creating incredibly detailed histories of what products have experienced as active things being monitored with these sensors. And with these data, you're then able to optimize processes and predict demand and supply. And so this live business value chain is constantly feeding back into itself rather than each part of the chain operating more independently or linearly. And as IoT becomes more pervasive, these systems will be constructed in ways that allow for the business processes to make certain changes on the fly to take the intelligence learned and then self-correct in real time. So in business speak, connected things are most valuable when they end up lowering costs, optimizing productivity, and minimizing waste. So now let's introduce the SAP Leonardo IoT Innovation Portfolio. So SAP's goal here is to provide structure to what might otherwise be overwhelming, since practically anything and everything can be connected, like we've been discussing. So SAP Leonardo IoT combines adaptive applications with device management and connectivity. And it includes packaged solutions across lines of business and industry use cases, ranging from connected products, assets, and infrastructures to vehicle fleets, markets, and people. The goal here is to empower this new world of live business. So let's take a look at each of these pillars and then go into the corresponding horizontal components you see here. So first is connected products. Now, connected products enable end-to-end visibility into product-centric operations. I mean, this is pretty straightforward, but we're going to be explaining this in more detail in an example in one of the coming up units when we talk about SAP Connected Goods. Next up is connected assets, which links production systems and assets with manufacturing and maintenance business processes to reduce operational and maintenance costs and increase asset uptime. Then we've got connected fleets, which track, monitor, analyze, and maintain all moving assets wherever they are. Next is connected infrastructure, which delivers new forms of digital operational intelligence to transform physical infrastructure systems to allow for more efficient operations and enable better infrastructure compliance. And then there's connected markets. This has been designed to help cities and rural areas optimize the utilization of natural resources and assets, so that this, it reduces emissions, congestion, and energy usage and improves the environment. And last but not least, connected people. Connected people enables improved lives, work, and health by linking people and communities together. Okay, so what about the SAP Cloud Platform here? Well, it's the platform as a service infrastructure that provides microservices for things like security, user management, and backend integration through application program interfaces, sometimes known as APIs. And so that's why it often ends up being involved across all the other offerings. And same goes for SAP Leonardo Foundation, which includes best-of-breed business services, which enable anyone to rapidly build Internet of Things applications and also create reusable application services to integrate with or extend other solutions. So this includes pretty interesting abilities like streaming analytics and running predictive scenarios. Now, as for SAP Leonardo Edge here, we're going to go into more detail about edge computing in another session, but for now, just know that this is a solution for collecting and processing IoT sensor data where it occurs rather than always sending it back to the core system. The reason for this is because it can accelerate workflows and it can provide uninterrupted data processing, among other benefits. And last but not least, we have SAP Leonardo Bridge, which combines real-time information from connecting things with business processes to enable role-based control centers to run their respective areas as a live business. All right, I know that was quite the crash course of an introduction, but we're going to go into some examples of these solutions throughout the course. In fact, I thought it'd be helpful to insert a concept video right here that includes some screens from SAP Leonardo Bridge. Now, standard disclaimers apply here. While most of the SAP Leonardo IoT innovation portfolio that I just went through is live and available today, SAP Leonardo Bridge is in development still, and some of what you're about to see is subject to change. And also, this is just one use case of what's possible of all the things that SAP is exploring with SAP Leonardo Bridge. But having said that, it's pretty cool, and you should take a look.
Operations professionals working in manufacturing, distribution, or other asset-intensive industries have gotten used to making decisions based on siloed information and data that is often disconnected, isolated on spreadsheets, or just plain outdated. Critical decisions are being made without context and without the benefit of real-time live data. Marco is a portfolio manager of pipeline operations for Central Italy, with the responsibility to meet the daily downstream of natural gas demand. Like other operations manager professionals, Marco leverages the SAP Leonardo IoT Bridge to monitor assets and react to unforeseen events to maximize operational efficiency. The SAP Leonardo IoT Bridge shows him the virtual real-time status of his pipeline system and compressor stations in Italy. The cockpit view brings together critical decision-making information in the cloud, including information sourced from a wide variety of SAP solutions and third-party apps, such as SAP S/4HANA, Track and Trace, Connected Goods, and more. Marco suddenly receives a notification of a leak identified by one of the thermal infrared cameras. It shows an increased pressure alert at the same compressor station. Marco reviews the impact of the leak and visually compares it with the predicted supply. He can see that his ability to meet contractual demands is compromised. He proceeds to review the details for the affected compressor station, including operating temperature, pressure, and throughput impact. By clicking Resolve, the SAP Leonardo IoT Bridge presents Marco with 3 resolution options with trade-offs that compare cost, risk, and performance. Next, Rafaela, the operations manager, is automatically notified and dispatches a service crew to process the work order. The SAP Leonardo IoT Bridge uses information from SAP Vehicle Insights and SAP Extended Warehouse Management to make recommendations that allow Rafaela to select a local service crew and a distribution center that stocks the required parts. The field technicians use 3D repair and safety instructions from the SAP Asset Intelligence Network to repair the valve safely. Shortly after the repair, Marco receives a notification that the repair work order is complete. In addition, the SAP Leonardo IoT Bridge predictively recommends that he evaluate, inspect, and repair 11 other valves of the same type, so Marco can minimize the risk of future failures, costly emergency repairs, and unplanned downtimes. This is the best of IoT in action.
Okay, so now that you've been introduced to the SAP Leonardo IoT innovation portfolio, let's zoom out once more and talk about overall drivers and challenges for the Internet of Things. These are all top of mind for SAP executives, so you may as well be aware of them too. So here goes. The drivers are the good news. Sensors, well, sensors are getting tinier and tinier and cheaper, so that's really good. Connectivity. Connectivity is requiring less energy and is becoming more ubiquitous. Nice. Data storage. Well, data storage is getting very cheap, so that's really nice. And then there's the cloud, the cloud is getting more reliable and available, and IoT in general is also starting to become mainstream with gadgets making their way into the home. So that's pretty cool. But now let's look at the challenges. There are a ton of different standards, protocols, interfaces, and data formats. This is going to get better with time, but don't pick one way of implementing IoT and think you're done. That's the problem. Next is data. Turning data into actionable information, this can be pretty tricky and can involve algorithms and data scientists. Then there are the market players. A lot of vendors or companies involved with IoT, they might only address part of the wider story that's involved. So it can be hard to find someone, an expert, to help you get what you need when it's a holistic end-to-end solution. And then let's not forget security, safety, and privacy. This goes back to the lack of standards. This is already improving, but it's still going to take some time. The issue is if everything is connected, technically speaking, everything is also hackable. And finally, lack of skills. The Internet of Things is still in its infancy, which means specialists can be expensive and not that many experts are out there yet. Now, all that said, I don't bring this up this list of challenges I don't bring it up to depress you or to scare you. It's just a reminder that the world is just getting started with the Internet of Things, and all of these challenges are actually very addressable and they can be overcome. And that's actually precisely what SAP is working on every day. In fact, with SAP Leonardo IoT, SAP is working to position itself in the industry to help any business truly run live. First and foremost, SAP is a leader in the area of business process integration with IoT data and insights. And SAP also prides itself with its hugely powerful and scalable digital core that we discussed earlier, which now includes SAP Leonardo. And then there's the decades of industry experience, customized services, and the commitment to business value outcomes. And last but not least, SAP is equipment independent and wants to work with all major Internet of Things manufacturers. But enough on that. Let's quickly recap this unit and look ahead at what's to come next in the course. So we've made it abundantly clear that everything and everyone is connected digitally. And the SAP Leonardo IoT innovation portfolio, it's here to bring structure to the chaos by providing packaged solutions across lines of business and industry use cases, including connected products, assets, infrastructures, vehicles, markets, and people. The goal is to empower this new world of live business. And SAP Leonardo also includes a platform and services for anyone to build, integrate, and extend their own IoT applications. So in the next unit, we'll take a closer look at a new SAP Leonardo solution called SAP Connected Goods. Thanks for joining.